Wow, what an epic start of August. August 1st and a Tuesday night with Marketing Made Easy. What could be any better? Welcome to the show. My name is Joey Ragona, and I am welcoming you to this another amazing Tuesday night. I know this is going to be an epic conversation because it has already been an epic conversation started today and maybe a couple of days ago in our Facebook group. And also, well, we'll talk about that in a second. Just want to welcome Scott into the fold here. Welcome, Scott. Good to see you here.
Thanks, Joey. As always, thank you for welcoming us and me to the show on this August 1st. And I'm a
Amazing.
little pissed off today.
Yeah? Do tell.
I am sick and tired of people being led down the path of BSO. And it's not only bright and shiny objects, but I've replaced it as, BS opportunities. And I think because here's what happened. Somebody contacted me that I've known for a few years, and I've watched them in a coaching group I was in. And from the get-go, I was like, you have the solution to one of the biggest problems that men have. And it's so easily get it out there. And I asked her simply, who's your dream client? Everyone. I'm like, you've been engaging with,
I love the head slap. It's the best.
it was just, you've been engaging with people for years who have been giving you advice, and you don't have that. And I was like, what's your dream client statement? I don't have one. And I'm like, okay, that before you do anything, find out who your dream client is. Go identify them. Figure out what the bar stool moment is. Figure out your dream client statement. And then she comes back and she goes, do you know anyone that specializes in backlinks? And I'm like, well, why? What did, So, yeah. Okay, I got it out. Thanks, Joey.
Yeah,
I
you're
feel
welcome.
better now.
Yeah, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole
No,
because
no,
I could go on. I can go on a tangent about this because I see it all the time. Where, yeah, it's
well,
anyway.
we
Yeah,
see it all
I'll
the
just leave
time,
it.
and Joey, that again, you, that's your whole jam. Is you hate that people are being taken advantage of, wasting money, doing all this crazy stuff and tools and funnels and Facebook and this when they haven't figured out what their dream client, dream business, and dream life is, and it's sad to it's just sad to see it because we know how easy it can be if you do it different, like you say. So go for it.
Saying hi to some people here. I believe that's Collie, the first one, because Love and
Yep.
Soul Hugs tipped me off on that one. And Christopher, good to see you. Christopher was actually one of the inspirations for today's topic or conversation. So thank you, Christopher, and thank you for being here live. It will be a great session for sure.
Yep.
We want Scott to be happy. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Lorna. I need to be happy.
Today, Christopher asked a question about like why is marketing needed or something like that in the group. And we got into a discussion of like what is marketing and why is it important. And then on our academy call, I went through an exercise that led to a conversation, an epic and intense, emotional at times conversation around marketing too. It just happened to come up. And so I figured, why not just continue this conversation live? Because I'm finding that the word marketing is getting in the way of a lot of people's mindsets of like just doing what you just said is like, who's the person you want to speak to, and marketing seems to be this. I'm going to use the word block, but it's more of this. This peg that they're trying to fit into a round, there's a round peg trying to fit into a square hole, and they're like, I don't get how this all works, and I get all that. So I just want to talk about like what is marketing, like what does it mean to you, and that's I'm talking to you, Scott, and I'm talking to you listening, and
Yeah.
let's just have this conversation and see where it goes. So
Okay, so let me just comment first, Joey, on what you just said, in that Yeah, the whole word marketing. It's got this kind of nuance and this thing, this stigma. That's the word I was looking for. This stigma around it, like I got to be a marketer. I got to do marketing. I got to do Facebook marketing and YouTube. I got to do all this marketing stuff, and I've got to get a course and I got to learn how. When yeah, and that's what happens is people come in that are not marketers, that are new into the world of entrepreneurship, heart-centered online entrepreneurship, and they're like, you got to do marketing. Well, what's that? I never learned that. Or if I did, I learned it from an economics teacher who knew absolutely nothing about marketing. And so it's this enigma, this stigma. And to me, it's kind of simple. Marketing to me is discovering what the dream client really needs and delivering it to them in a way that makes it easy for them to get the result they want on whatever the platform is that you choose that's comfortable for you where they hang out. It's not about, okay, I got to run ads and I got to do Facebook, I got to do YouTube, I got to blah, 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 blah. It's that kind of, to me, is the gentler version of it, at least part of it.
Yeah.
And it's, the benefit breadcrumbs that we talk about, putting them out there. It's not this complicated thing. It's, hey, I'm an expert at this and I want to share that with others to help them, and I'm going to do it here. That's marketing, helping people. And what we do, this is marketing in a way, because we're helping, we're sharing. People get to look at it and say, God, I like what this dude says. I like this thing. And they get their questions answered and they get transformation and benefit. That to me is marketing, not I got to go run Facebook ads and I got to do all that stuff. That's too. Scal messaged me the other day and she's like, I'm leaving the online world. I'm sick and tired of having to do all this and post on this place and Facebook and Google and LinkedIn. And I was like, well, why are you doing all that? Because I'm told I have to. Okay, there's your first problem. Go.
Yeah, this is kind of where people get hung up, and I don't disagree with you because there's so many levels of what marketing is and how it's perceived, and I like to simplify it down to what really is it. And if you take away all of the stuff, because yeah, you're talking about Atlas and benefit breadcrumbs and all of the stuff that are named, and the process of what you do to help bring people in, even if it's heart centered or aggressive or whatever, all marketing. But that trips up a lot of people, and that's where they get hung up. Because that's all the conversations I've had, especially running Atlas now for the last 4 years and bringing and having people in there that are not as, I'll just use the word educated in marketing as we have been, because it's what we've done for 40 years. That's kind of our love too, is like, this is whatever, right? But simplifying it is, to me, marketing is just you. That's what it is. And it's everything that you do. Like, you cannot turn off marketing. So right now, the way we speak is marketing. And yes, we're doing a show, but it's like, should I do a live show? Is that do whatever you want. It's like, you show up, the way you walk outside is marketing. You're marketing who you are. So the simplification is, marketing is just you, period. That's the way I look at it. And then, so the conversation that I had today in Academy was about this, because I realized that even at 19 years old, when I was just learning marketing for 3 years, like the actual thing of it. And as you know, or we talked about it before, the first book I read was Guerrilla Marketing, which was a fantastic introduction to me, because it was totally opposite of everything that everyone else was doing, and or the textbooks and all these things that we have been introduced to. And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And because I've always been that opposite dude. And then I realized that I was already doing dream client stuff back then that didn't know it, but it was like, and this is what I explained to everybody on the Academy call. It was like, I just wanted to speak to DJs who were like me. And they weren't any DJ. They were guys who wanted to have something that no other DJ had, because I was selling specialty records, right? That were 3 times the amount of everything else. So for anybody listening, like, oh, how can I charge 10x of what I'm doing and everybody else is charging this? And well, if I could do it back then when there was no internet and money was just as tight, if not tighter, anybody could do, if you're speaking to the right audience. but I didn't think marketing. I thought, how could I take what the love that I have and just tell other people about this? That's it. And then the how of the marketing revealed itself. Like, well, what's the best way of doing this? Why don't I connect to a dude I know on radio and give him a record and say, hey man, can you play this, and just mention my name? You know what I mean? There was no strategy and that. But then if you look backwards and you say, well, how did you grow Spinning Sound? Well, this is how I did it. Oh, well, you had a process. No, I created the process because these are the people I wanted to speak to. So it was always about the who. It was always about, these are the only DJs that are going to buy this. It's not going to be a guy who can say, well, why would I buy that? It's 3 times more when I can go and buy the same dang song down there for $10. You can buy the same song, but you can't get the same remix. And there's only a certain amount of remixes of this one thing that are available. So yes, there was scarcity if you really want to look at all that kind of stuff, but still, I wasn't thinking that. I wasn't thinking scarcity. It was more of, you're in an exclusive club, just like Atlas, right? That's just like what we're doing now, just like Academy. Everything is part and parcel. And it was like, if you want to be part of this and be the guy that stands out, great at Oasis, right? If you want to be the guy that stands out and get paid more in your clubs because you're the only one playing different versions that nobody else has, then you should join my club. And we can build this together. But it was just about, this is who I am. This is what I love, and I'm just going to tell everybody about that. And then the right people put up their hand and say, I want to be a part of that.
Mm-hmm. Love
Your
it.
turn.
So I'm going to jump on the you part, and it is, and I'm adding it, is to be the real you. And I kind of first got exposed to marketing in hospitality school. I had 4 different professors. One of them was Joe Gregg, who was this really neat guy. And he was into going into restaurants and helping and fixing them up. And I learned a lot from him, and I did some projects with him. Mickey Warner was one of my professors, lived near me, and he worked for Interstate Canteen, and they catered to football stadiums. So he taught, how do you market and promote for 30 days a year and make a ton of money? And then there was Mike Hurst, who owned one of the most successful restaurants in Fort Lauderdale. He was one of our teachers, and he was a marketing genius. Like, he did crazy stuff like bringing elephants down the road and just really over-the-top promotional things. And the 4th one was Colonel Lee Dixon. He was from the military, and he taught a class on marketing. So I had 4 marketing classes from teachers. But the first real book to me, Joey, was Cash Copy by Jeffrey Lamb. And I read that 5 times, and it was like, holy cow. That to me was really what did it, because it taught me kind of about copy and writing. And I took the Dale Carnegie course, when I was 17, and I loved teaching people how to remember names. So I started teaching that. I would do little seminars for different associations on that. And then I would teach a little bit about marketing, and it's what I love to do. And so I would speak, and 20 people, 50, 100, 2 or 3 people would go, you should come speak for us. You should come speak for us. Before I knew it, I was speaking all over the country, going to different countries, companies all over the place, because it's what I love. And I was being me, doing what I loved. It wasn't like I have to go do a live show, or I have to go do direct mail, which I did, or postcards, which I did. Those things came later as methods of putting me out there. And so I like, you simplified it. It is find out. It goes to, what's your dream life? What do you love to do? What's your thing that, what's the job that you do, and what's the problem? Go do it in whatever medium is most comfortable for you. You got to be on Facebook. No, you don't. If that's not where you want to be. If you want to be on wherever, then do that. Be you. If that's where your audience is, go.
Well, see, like there, you just messed it up. Like the whole thing was right up great until you said, if that's where your audience is, because that's what's going to trip somebody up. And I'm not throwing you under the bus here, but I'm just saying, because it's like, well, where's my audience? And then they get caught in this freaking loop of like all these things where, for me, it was remove everything. Like, so the conversation today was, my advice was, take out everything. Forget about selling, forget about marketing, forget about everything, and just go do what you love to do in terms of like what you said. If you're a writer, then write a newsletter or do whatever you want, because that's how I started with Spinning Sound too. There was no marketing thing. It was again created out of thin air by doing the thing that I was really good at, which was writing. And even the order process. So let me go back to that situation, because again, I'd like to build things as I go. And when I first had the first record played on air, all I said was to Dave, Dave, listen, just give my phone number out when you play it, and that's it, right? And so I'm sitting there, and the phone just rings off the hook. I had no sales process. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and all I did was, hey, can I take your name and number and call you back? Great. That's all I did for the whole 25, 30 minutes that the phone was off the hook. Because I didn't have any hold or anything, right? This is like... So it's like I took all these names and numbers and said, can I call you back? Yeah. Can I call you back? Yeah. And I spent the whole week calling people back. So, hey, man, I've got this right. Here's what it is, right? And I'm just playing it by ear. So that was my sales process that came out of it. But the thing was, and I built a newsletter and started communicating that way, got mailing and built a mailing list and all that kind of stuff. But it was all about, what's the easiest thing for me to do right now? So if anybody's listening and you're caught in the realm of marketing methods and ideas and everything else, and you're confused about what you should do, stop doing it all. Okay, stop doing everything. That's my advice to you. Don't listen to anybody, including us. Okay,
Yeah.
Just stop doing everything. And when people are in Atlas, as you know, because you've been through it a couple times, I do teach my process, or here's what I do to do this. It's only for demonstration. It's not, this is how you need to go do this. This is how I do it. And yes, most people do just model the exact same thing and do it. Fantastic. But for other people that are like, I don't want to be on Facebook, or I don't want to do chat and the message navigator, then don't do it. What is something that you like to do that you can do on a consistent basis that is just you? And I think that's the
Joey,
message.
Yeah, and agreed totally. To that point, I was teaching catering management at the university as an adjunct professor. I had taught in junior college as well, and one of the other teachers owned a seminar company that taught hotels the sales process. And the hotels wanted to sell more catering, weddings, and events. And so he's like, you want to do one? I was like, sure. I love teaching anyway. So I remember doing my first practice seminar in a room, and to see if I could do it, to see if they liked it. And it went great, and I loved it. Well, guess what? I started doing them. I didn't plan on, okay, I'm going to do seminars. It just happened. And I
Right.
love teaching. I love
Right.
writing. And so it became a natural thing. And because of the Dale Carnegie, I love speaking. And so all those things were me put together, and it just so happened. And then what happened? Like I said, someone's like, hey, you should come speak to us. So that was
Well,
that's
what
how
is
it
it
all
like?
began.
So let's expand on what marketing means to you. What does it mean to you?
Just putting out how I can help people. That's it. That's all.
Okay.
I
It doesn't matter
this is how
where or
I can.
how or what.
No, I was at a birthday party Sunday. Someone said, "What do you do?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't really answer that when I'm amongst regular people." But we started talking, and I said, "Well, tell me about." Guy shows me his website, and I was like, "Yeah, that doesn't say anything. Who's your audience?" And I start with our thing. Who's your dream client? What's your dream bid? They don't know any of that, and it's just I naturally go into it because that's part of how I teach. That's part of how I help.
Yeah.
So it doesn't
That's the
matter
thing.
where. I could be out on a street corner. I could be out in a restaurant, in a coffee shop, and Joey, you've been in my ear when I go to the food stores, and I interact with everybody. I just love chatting with people and finding out about them, and then it ends up we have conversations, and that to me is marketing. And I like what you said. It's just being you.
Yeah. Like look at back to, if I look at the superpower matrix, right? What is it all about? That's what it. That's the foundation of it. It's when I figured out finally what's the secret to all of this. Regardless of, yes, I have an advantage of 40 years of marketing books and all the things, and yeah, that. But it was once I removed what's the best method I should use here, what's the template I should use for this copy. Like once I removed all of that, and it was just like, because I tried them all. I've been doing it for years,
Oh,
7 excruciating years. Yeah, there's some money coming in, and I'm not discounting it all, but it wasn't any kind of major success, and it was painful. A lot of times, it was very, very painful, and because it was trying to follow systems that weren't me, and it was like I'm suggesting everybody here who's having any trouble with 2019, which was screw it all. I'm not doing any of this. Not doing anything. All I'm going to do is show up and be me and take it or leave it. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how anybody's going to take this or perceive me or whatever, but I'm just going to be me. I'm going to write what I think. I'm going to say what I think. I'm going to show up on camera the way that I feel comfortable and take it or leave it. Let's see what happens. Rolled the dice, went all in, and here we are today. Thank God, right? And it's
yeah, and Joey,
proven
that's
itself
so,
again and again.
and it's so counterintuitive to what everybody else is promoting and selling. The tools always change, always will. The algorithms will change, the next cart, the next this, the all in one platform, the next social thing, the next big thing. That's always going to change.
Yeah,
What's never going to change is you. What's never going to change is you go through Atlas, and I'm not promoting Atlas and I'm not stroking anybody, but you go through a process that teaches you how to be you. Because really, now that you think about it, at the end of Atlas, you learn how to be you in the most natural, authentic
that's
way.
right.
And that's what it's about. It's not you need to use this tool or this system or this AI or this thing to do that. And that's all superfluous because it will always change. What will never change is you, what you believe in, what you stand for, and what you love doing. And if you do that, it'll work. If you try and fit into, okay, I got to figure out how to get my message out on this platform, or I got to use this tool, or I got to use this thing, that's when it just becomes excruciatingly painful.
Yeah, you're right. It's more about it's like so. I messaged. I think it was in our Facebook group. By the way, if you're not in the Facebook group, and you like this conversation going on, you like a whole bunch more. But let me put this in there, just so you can join our Facebook group because there's an epic conversation going on about this already, and I think
And
I wrote
Joey,
it in
while
there.
you've got that, if you're watching live, hashtag live, if you're watching replay, hashtag replay. And again, the group is an amazing heart-centered place where you have like-minded people and support, and nobody's selling you anything, nobody's putting you in any funnels. It's all about supporting. And as Joey says in Pillar One, it's a tribe that was curated carefully and protected.
Yeah,
That's a key element there. It's curated and protected. So go on, Joey.
yeah. Thank you for that. Uh, what was I going with that? I forgot where I was going with it.
No, we have a
Anyway,
couple of comments, so we
it'll
can
come back.
jump on those. And yeah, it will. Always does.
It'll come back. Now, there's just a lot of highs, and it looks like Christopher was a DJ. That's amazing. And
Yep.
Narcissa's here. Nice to see you. And it works if we work it, which means stopping it all. I think that's from
That's Collie.
Collie. And it works if we work it, which means stopping it all. Yeah, I'm not like, yeah, I'm just saying right now to stop listening to everybody else or stop doing things that you don't like doing. I think that was kind of the whole point of it is I was so involved with so many different elements of marketing and I already went down another rabbit hole before 2019 of maybe there's something I'm missing all of these years and I went down, the more bro marketing things. Thank God I didn't do every single thing. I didn't go like all in on that, but I went enough to disrupt my heart. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not missing something here. Actually, I'm glad I've been missing all these other these things they're telling me to do. And And then it was like, no, I'm just going to remove everything and I'm going to start from scratch. I'm just going to rebuild and I'm going to start with me. I'm going to start with here's who I am and here's the people that I want to speak to. And that's where the whole dream client thing began to develop. It was who do I want to speak to? Who are the people that I want in my life? And we've been talking about this ever since, right? And I just continue to put that message out, but sometimes it's just too simple for someone to listen to and go, yeah, but, yeah, but, yeah, but. Well,
Joey,
if you go ahead.
it goes also. You said it again in there. Is what is Joey? Joey's all about dream client, do different Atlas. That's it. I don't have to go into long one thing. And you beat me up for years on stop doing 7,000 things. Focus on one thing. And when you focus on one thing and you love it and you get good at it, that's kind of marketing. Because
Yeah,
the more you engage in it, there's different dimensions and levels and depths of it. Instead of I just did that, let me go do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Get really
yeah,
good at the one thing that you love to do, and the dream clients will come and find you because you're out there doing what you love, not I got to do this thing I hate and I got to figure out this thing and I got to hire these people and I got to do the next thing. Go.
yeah. And I don't know if Lorna's here. Is she here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So look at Lorna. Like if you look at her post, and she talked about it today, and Lorna can chime in on this as well. Was a post there's like that is getting a lot of great response from her being who she is. Here's me, here's a little bit of my story, and not really thinking of how am I going to market this? How am I going to make money from this? At the end of the day, anybody who's listening to this, yes, the whole idea is to market and build your list and make money and build a business. But if you're focused on that, that's where it all gets messed up. Well, how do I market to do all this? Where my thought was, okay, I'm not going to market anymore because I know that just by showing up and being who I am and speaking this way and having my background this way and everything else and wearing the same dang thing every single day, that's marketing. That's who I am, and take it or leave it. You don't like it, then don't watch my show. Whatever. It's all good. Like it just doesn't matter. I'm not trying to impress anybody except for people that want to hang out with me on their own decision and choice, not because I'm a great marketer, right?
I have another definition of marketing.
Great.
A, curate a tribe. B, serve, don't sell. 3, respect their time. The 3 pillars of Joey Ragona. That's marketing. Curate a tribe of people you love hanging out with called dream clients. Serve them in what you love doing and you're passionate about. Don't sell them, and just give them room. Respect their time. That, my friend, is marketing.
Yeah. Thank you, man. It is. It is
Brilliant,
all
Joey.
about.
You make things too simple. Everybody wants it to be complicated.
Yeah,
No.
too many moving pieces. Like, how do we go from here to here? What are all the steps in between and all that? I don't care what the steps are. There's no steps. And if there are steps, make them up as you go or figure them out afterwards. Like, but it's that's where I was going with this. So thank you for making my brain come back to this conversation. It was in response to a conversation. I can't remember what it was, but I said, if you are asking the question that begins with the word how, you're asking the wrong question. Because the how always shows up. And that's the hardest part for everybody is, well, how does the how show up? That's the wrong question. Right away, you ask the wrong question. So you replace the word how with who, what, where, and when. That's it. Yeah. Anytime I now ask the question to myself, because I still get caught in this loop every day, how? No, wait a minute, Joey. No, it's not how. It's who or what or where. So in the context of marketing, it might be, how do I find dream clients? It's not how do you find them, is who needs to hear my message?
Yeah.
That's it. Or where do I go to say what I want to say? Not how, where? No. Where do I go?
And what when do I say? Go? Yeah, that's it. That's it. And the how, I think that's thank you for saying that, Joey, because that's what the whole bro marketing industry relies on is the how.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. I'll teach you how. Don't worry about it. The course will show you how. The clarity call, the thingy, the coaching, it'll show you how. No, it won't. It'll show you how I did it and the 10,000 things you don't know that happened in my life before I did it. But that's not going to help you. You've got to
Right.
know the who, what, when, and where.
Yeah. Always about the who. And so anybody that's listening to this, please respond in the group or in the comments if you have any questions about this, feedback, anything. We'd love to help you too, because this is not just a two-way conversation. We'd love to have this extended. Hang on. As I said that, we got a comment coming up. The post email I wrote was straight from my heart. Oh, this is from Lorna. Okay. Not only was it a non-marketing, it was one of the few times I've gone back to the space I was in that relates to the women in the group list. Brilliant. That's what I'm talking about. Go figure, right? And I'm not pointing fingers at you, Lorna. I'm just pointing it at myself, because it was like, you know, why don't I just be me? Why don't I just? It's not that I've had a lot of masks on, but there was maybe a thin veil, not as much
Oh,
as the
yeah.
big masks over here, but it was like, you know what? Forget this. It's all over. This is how it's going to be. And I think it was on the Academy call where I mentioned that, and I've said this to you before, Scott. I think you've heard me say this one time, where my best emails or whatever, the ones that get the most response every single time, are the ones that I am against the wall thinking, what am I going to write about today? Like, dang it. And then I look at something or go into my Facebook and see a response, or get triggered of something that I really feel passionate about talking about. And I spit it off in 5 minutes, not worrying about what are the right words. How do I make this into copy? Those are always the best ones, because they come from my heart. And so today, and that's exactly what Lorna was saying, actually. So I'll come back to this in a second. What was really cool was the post email is that there are comments and replies from women who haven't engaged in any post for a very long time, if ever. And by the way, if you've ever heard me talk about dream clients are watching you, this is what I'm talking about. So it's so important that once you lock in on the who, and all you talk about is you, not in a necessary like look at me, but sharing your who you are, your failures, successes, thoughts, fears, all of those things. That's marketing.
Yeah.
That's marketing. That pulls dream clients toward you, and it's
Transparent,
not hard.
vulnerable, transparent and vulnerable you. Going back to your you again. And it's so true, Joey. Nobody wants to hear you get on and say, "Oh, I made this much money, and I've had this, and I do this, and I do that, and I'm." It's like, you know what? Yeah, I messed up. I had this win, I had this loss, I had this thing and this thing, and I keep coming back, and I keep doing it, and I'm just like you. I live, I breathe, I feel, I get upset, I get happy, and yeah, I make mistakes and I do things that don't turn out the way I thought they should, but that's the way it was supposed to be till I get to the next thing. It's not all, yeah, I had this client, that client, I made this and that. And it's kind of like some of the groups we're in where, like, oh, yeah, my client made $877 million because they worked with me. And this client with this, like, who cares? Just like be real. And then I want to hang out with you.
Yeah. Lauren also says it's taken a lot of personal work in the last 8 months for me to be open to being me. I know, Lorna, this is the work nobody wants to do. I did this as well, and I still do it. Starting with unique abilities and what your genius, like all these things, like looking inside about who am I, and knowing what your superpowers are, because that's what these words are all out there. Like, people now use these words as marketing words. Like, so what are your superpowers, and who is your dream client? Like, I'm seeing all these things now, and like,
Oh, yeah.
you don't even give me a break, But those are the buzzwords now, and posting my personal profile. But that was huge for me. So all the work that we're doing, and would you do on yourself, and opening yourself up, because that would probably be the hardest thing for anybody listening to this. If you think marketing is hard, well, standing up and being who you are is probably the hardest thing you'll ever do. For me, it's not been a problem, because I've been like that all my life. So I have an advantage. I get that, right? It's just like, I really don't care what anybody thinks from the day I was born. But I can understand where someone was like, well, I don't know, because they've been like that most of their life. Like, well, if I say this, it's going to it's pissing off that other people over there. Yeah, that's right. And that's going to be good because you don't want those people in your life. You want to repel most people.
Well, and Joey, 2.5 years ago, I think you remember, Erin, she came in once and kissed my forehead while we were on the show. She's wearing that cool hat, the redhead. And she said to me, she had done a private lesson and she made some suggestions on my nutrition. And she goes, and I want you to like post it to the world. I was like, I don't want to post it to the world. I don't want to tell the world that I'm on a journey to lose weight. And that then I have to say I'm overweight and I'm obese, which I actually was at the time because I was close to 60 pounds heavier. That's obese. I didn't want to go to the world and say, hey, I'm obese and haven't been able to control my weight, but I could do all this other stuff. And I was like, crap. Okay. And I did it. And I kept doing it. And then my detox journey and this and that, and my this and that and that. It's me. It's the real thing. It's not all the successes and all the big companies and the this and the clients. And yeah, that's part little things, but it really is about who are you as a human that I want to hang out with, that people want to connect with. Yeah, I struggle with that. Yeah, I do that. He's just like me. Joey's just like me. I'm just like Joey. Go.
Yeah, I agree. Like I remember our conversation when I was talking to you about your business and sharing all the,
Yeah,
and you were like, nah, I'm not ready to do that yet.
yeah,
I'm like, dude,
yeah,
you have to share that. And then when you were ready, and look what happened. Everybody's like, holy
yeah,
crap, like there's a real you. Because I've told you this before. When going back to that real estate dude, I'll never forget him. And he's $1 billion in real estate, but has never had a tenant problem or any problem whatsoever. And asking people to invest with him, and I'm like, I'm not investing with that dude. He doesn't have any idea if and when things are going to go wrong. But even more important, you're full of crap.
yeah.
You're telling me
It's
you've
not
never had
wrong.
a problem, and you want, you know what I mean? So people can see through the BS. And the other thing is, when you repel people that you just like. Why? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me to work with people you don't love. I just don't get it. I
Joey,
was there before, but it's like,
I've gotten a little ornery and obstinate lately, and I don't have patience for people that not like I said, this one person who I said, just figure out your dream client, figure out your job, and figure the dream clients, just figure that out first. Don't do anything else. And then the next thing it's posting, how do I, do this community thing here or this? And I'm like, I'm done. I just don't talk to me anymore. I don't want to waste, like you say, why waste it? Somebody comes in, it's like, I need to build a funnel and make money within 30 days. I have
right,
to. You'd be like, okay, go stand in another line, Seth Godin. Because
right.
that ain't what it's is about. And go.
Yeah, for us, like, or for you, or like, that's where, again, this is marketing. This is about being you. Anybody that is like that, who comes into my world, who wants immediate wins or whatever. They ask for stuff that I cannot do or am not willing to promise that I can do, is not somebody that I want to work with. It has nothing to do with them as a human being. It's just something
No.
that would frustrate me for the entire time being. And I was there before. I remember being there before, of just taking that on, marketing something that, I'm going to say this, it's going to probably confuse some people, but I'll come back to it. Marketing what they wanted, and not respecting what I wanted at the same time. So yes, you have to market what they want, but you have to understand what that is, the oasis and all that stuff. But that starts with you. It starts with, who do I want in my world that I can relate to what their oasis is, because I've got the same oasis, the same destination. That's the difference. So yes, I'm marketing to people, right, what they want, because I want the same thing, and now I have it, so I could say, here's how you get the exact same thing, because we want to be at the same dream island. That's a completely different thing of saying, how do I get more customers? Let me go do all the research. Oh, that's what they want. Okay, let me market that. And then some of the things violate who you are as a person, no matter what that means to you. Whether it's, well, they want to work in the mornings, and I don't want to work in the mornings, but they're paying me a whole bunch of money, so I guess I'm gonna have to work in the mornings. Like whatever it is, whatever crazy thing it is, it's like
Yeah.
no, I'm not violating what I want, and that is to me is marketing. You know, how many times like somebody listening to this now, somebody new is going to be listening to this and go, I just do not like the way that that dude speaks. I do
Yeah.
not like his attitude. I don't like his mannerisms, whatever. I'm like, fine, that's so totally cool. That's totally cool.
Yeah,
But there's
Joey, I've
somebody
been
who
in front
does.
of I literally been in front of tens of thousands of people and speaking all the years I did. And I always had evaluations at the end. And we'd always go read them. And at the end, because I wanted to improve my product, me. It wasn't about me. And occasionally somebody would not be kind. And I may remind them of their uncle or their father or their brother or their somebody who they didn't like. So it doesn't matter what I am, what I say, what I do. The other day, I a friend of mine asked if I would help with one of my superpowers to help somebody in his company, and I agreed to meet with him. And I met with him, and I gave him some of my wisdom because I've had experience with it. I learned how to do it, and I was going to help him just make his life easier. And then I spoke to my buddy, and I said, you know what? I could probably just spend a day or two with them, show them how to do it so that they can make everybody and you a lot of money. And I called the dude up and I said, hey, you told me you want to make money. You need to make money. I can teach you this process and I'll help you do it in a couple of days. And it would have been a bunch of money, good money. And he goes, I don't want to talk about business on Sundays. I'm like, I'm taking my time, my expertise, knowledge, wisdom to help you make money for you and this company. It's on when I am available to do it. And I don't really want to work. And I was like, you just told me you wanted to make money. And I called my buddy up and I said, I'm rescinding my offer. I said, thank you very much, but it's not going to work in my life. If he can't do what needs to be done, I don't want to do it. I mean, the old days, I'd probably be like, okay, it's no big deal. When can you talk? I was like, you know what? No, like you, Joey, let's get together at 8 o'clock in the morning. That ain't
Yeah.
happening.
No.
And that's because again, it's being you in what you love and what we love. And I've learned that from you. It's like there's only a certain number of days I'll engage with people. The other days are about what am I doing to get me better, stronger, more educated, the things I love to do so that when we show up to our people, we are like on our game
Yep.
because we're focused on one thing.
Yep.
Go.
Lorna says, I used to be 100. No, I didn't read this one already. Okay, so I used to be 100% okay with being me. It's been a journey to find the new me after my husband died. While I sometimes wish I'd have learned some things sooner, we all have that one. I would have wanted anything. I wouldn't have wanted anything different that would have interfered with amazing humans stopping me or helping me now. Yeah, it's funny how the journey works. It's always, when you're in that state of despair and the worst parts of it and you're going through it, you'll do anything and anything to get out of it. And you're wishing it to be the shortest path ever. I hope this only lasts for whatever, in the next minute. But when you go through it and then you look backwards, almost everybody that I know has said, I am so thankful that happened to me. And someone in that, because I remember being in my desperation and in a very, very dark place. By the way, I'm going to be talking about this in a post because I've been writing that and penning it to reveal even more. So look out for that, guys. A little bit of a promotion there. But I remember being there and listening to or reading books and stuff, and they would say the same thing. I remember being there. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. And I thought, you're full of it. You have no idea. Like, I get it, but I can't even fathom looking at this moment right now and thanking that I was here. Right? But I so do. I
Yeah.
so do. I go out and I'm like, man, if that didn't happen to me. And it all came back. It comes back to another piece of this, which is success. And I truly 100% believe that you cannot appreciate success unless you've had major failure. Unless you've had failure, you cannot appreciate what success is. I don't care if you just start up a business or whatever and it goes to $1 billion. Just like that dude on the stage. Look at me, how much real estate I've got. I'm so successful. I've never had a problem. You got problems, bro.
Yeah.
How
Joey,
can you ever appreciate that?
you remember way back, I don't know, 8, 9 months, 10 months ago, I was in a pretty dark place. The software company I built, it did well, but then I couldn't get it to the next step because I didn't have enough money. It ended up costing me $80,000 to learn a hell of a lot of stuff. And when I put it aside,
Sorry,
because
I'm
it's
not
still
laughing at that situation. Just
oh,
the way you said it was.
and it's still there. It will turn into something one day, but it was a good lesson. I learned a lot of stuff. And at the time, I took on what I thought was a dream client. And if you go back and look, I was like all excited and I found a dream client and this is what I want. It turned out that she ended up being a terrorist. And
Yeah.
it's okay. It's all good. And, I had to pay back everything, even though I put in months worth. And that's okay. That was on me. And I learned really, I made some mistakes in that relationship. It was on me, not her. And I learned never to do that again. I was in a bad place in my
Yeah.
life and I
Yeah.
took on something that I wanted so much. You might think you have a dream client. I thought I did. In reality, I didn't. But you know what? It took me to where I now have them and I now understand them. And I now love doing what I do with the people because I'd hang out with them all day. And so, even if we go down this path, we're still going to, and we have to make mistakes. Because how can we look at somebody and say, yeah, I know what you just did. I already did that. So you don't have to do it. Yeah, I messed that up. Yeah, I did this. And it's, again, it's part of just being human.
I'll let you read that one.
Christopher says you're sifting those who want to be around you and those who don't, just by being your most authentic self. And that goes, Joey, to who do you want to hang out with on your oasis? Who do you want on your dream island? Who do you want to invite for dinner? Who would you be excited to wake up with and go, I can't wait to get on the phone with so-and-so, or to coach these people, or to hang out with these people? These are my people. I love them. And that's what we have to figure out. That's marketing, even though we're not calling it marketing, doing all that stuff. So thank you,
Yeah. So like,
Christopher.
where's the challenge in marketing? Like it's as soon as you, like Christopher, you just said it. Like that's it. That's what marketing is. And the moment you
Yeah.
bring in any other thing, is when you get confused. It's like, what do I do? Do I do Facebook? Like Scott was saying, do I do videos? Do I do this and that? It doesn't. It
Yeah.
does. Nothing matters. Yes, we can get to another level of, well, here's some marketing methods, and here's the go on Instagram 3 times a week, and like you can get into all of that. But that's where people start. They start there, or even worse, they look at, I'm starting a restaurant now. How do I do what McDonald's is doing? Probably you want to start with one restaurant and figure out a process first instead
Yeah.
of trying to be McDonald's. You know what I mean? It's like they're looking at they're jumping into the marketing world in the wrong place. And everything,
Well, they
in my
want to
opinion, this is
scale.
my opinion.
They want to scale. They already
Yeah, they want
want
to be
scale.
McDonald's. Well, they look at McDonald's and how do I run ads on Super Bowl? You don't. Like, you know what I mean? McDonald's didn't do that. Neither did Coca-Cola. And
Yeah.
wasn't
Well,
Coca-Cola a
Joe,
mistake?
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And we've talked about Alex Hormozy, $100 million offers, whereas like I'm going to help you get to $3 million, then come talk to me. He didn't.
Yeah.
You're not going out and selling anything. You go out and you get acquisitions.com. You go watch all this training for free. It'll teach you all the stuff you need to know, a lot of the basic stuff, and then you go make some money and figure it out instead of buy my program and learn this thing. Because again, 6 months from now, a year from now, the landscape will be completely different as far as what's the newest tool and what's the newest thing and the next system and that and the shopping cart and this, and we got This is the best thing. This is better than anything that's ever been out there. Well, who's your dream client? I don't know. Then how could that be the best thing ever out there? Oh, it's a great thing. I can do all these things and amazing things. Your messaging is wrong. You don't have a dream client statement. You don't have a dream client. So all that other stuff. I was playing with some copy the other day. The stuff you teach stands the test of time. It's kind of like the Grand Canyon and the pyramids and Keith Richards and cockroaches. At the end of it, they'll still be alive. Now, obviously, that's coming out of the copy because you don't really want to do humor in copy. But that's the point. Is all of this stuff we talk about will be around. We could talk about this in 10 years, and it's not going to change. It's still going to be you. Who's the dream client? What's the oasis? What's the problem? What's all the stuff that we need to know to be ourselves and to help people, to curate
Yeah,
a
because
tribe?
you could,
Yeah.
you could literally. That's why I talk about the dream, the napkin. Like, you could literally sell your thing on a napkin because nothing changes. It's all about the who, and it's about a simple thing. Like, look, all I know is I wanted this. I wanted to buy back my time. I didn't want to be stuck in funnels all day long, and didn't want to do exhausting launches. Didn't want to work with people that I just didn't charge my batteries. That's kind of what I wanted. I figured out a way to do that. Holy crap! I want the same thing. Great. Here it is. It's $3,500. Do you want to work with me for the next 12 weeks?
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Like, if you can't articulate what the thing is that they want, and more importantly, what you want and what you've already achieved, by the way, and I won't even get into that part of it, but that's what marketing is. I can write that anywhere. I can be in a bar with a loud music and can't hear a word I'm saying, and it's like, what do you do? Hang on, and write it down on a napkin and go, here you go, this is it. And they're like, oh wow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's
Joey,
go outside and talk.
I was in a coffee shop recently, and the owner's chatting with me and blah. And I actually gave him the pumpkin plan to read as a gift because I thought he could use it. He has a wine shop and a coffee shop. Nice guy. He goes, "What do you do?" And he goes, "You got a card?" I go, "No." He goes, "So you're the guy who somebody says he's the guy you should go talk to?" I said, "Yeah, pretty much." "You got a website?" "No." I've never had a website, pretty much, as far as me. Yeah, for brands and stuff and products. But there's no business card. There's no website. There's no nothing. It's like, hey, let's chat. If I can help you out, we'll figure something out. That's it. That's marketing. It's not like I got to have this whole thing and that and set up and that. And you got to go here and look at that. You taught me beautifully how to use a Google Doc. You're not ready to see my Google. You're not ready to apply to
Yeah.
You're not ready to apply and put a deposit down for me to think about talking to you. And I don't mean that with conceit and grandiosity.
No,
But I
no.
guess the point is we've got to pre-qualify, because if we're wasting all the time putting all the energy out for things that are never going to work, instead of just like you talked about, be you, find out what you're passionate about and do it. And then the how will come when you figure out the who, and you kind of get the what, where, and when. It'll come. Just like when I said, Scott, would you teach a catering program to all of our hotels that we do? But sure, I'll put it together and then we'll market it. And I learned how to market from that, and we did it. And it's like, oh, I love this. I love getting on airplanes and having people pay my airfare and my hotel and pick me up, and like a rock star. I loved it. I really did. It was fun. I got paid to do what I love. It's like when somebody says to you, what would you do today if you never got paid? I'd stand up in front of a group of people and teach them the stuff that I've been fortunate, like you. I mean, what are we doing? I just, I showed you what I just printed out that I'm about to reread, scientific advertising. And we have coaches and we've got all this stuff. It's not like we're just sitting there going, I got to build a new funnel today. I got to make offer. I got to make my Facebook ads. No, I want to just keep acquiring knowledge, because I know the higher we go up, the more we help serve. And when we focus on one thing, you become known for it and people come find you.
Yep. Lorna says this is such a clarity. I guess she's talking about the Sunday's comment, Scott. It's a non-negotiable, with the exception of going through a launch process when I did launch coaching. Yeah. So are you saying it's non-negotiable for you, Lorna, to work on the Sunday, or? because Scott was saying that he wanted his person to work on the Sunday. If I heard you right, Scott.
Well, yeah, in that situation, it was. I was offering my thing, but he didn't want to work on Sundays. He didn't want to do anything on the weekend after saying, I need to make money. I, I falsely connected him saying I wanted to make money with I'll do anything it takes to make money.
Right,
I
right,
falsely made that connection.
right,
It's
right,
like the
right.
other day, Mondays, I do my life purpose with Nick, and I spend Mondays with me, my time. That's it. My meditation, my prayer. That's my think day. And somebody was like, message me and says, can you help me come up with a name for something? I said, tomorrow. I said, tomorrow. I'd be more than happy to. Because that's not what fits into what I'm building as my dream life and my dream business. You talk about it. If you want to do 3 days a week and make this many and make this much money, we'll do the math. It's always the numbers never lie. Go.
Yeah. So she's referring to herself, like she doesn't work on, and that's fine. Like you have protected time. It's funny too because everyone knows that I work, 4 days officially, right? It doesn't mean I don't work on Fridays or Saturdays or Sunday, whatever. But it's officially theirs. And every time on the Kajabi Dream Customer Workshop, which is coming up on Friday, by the way, promotion right there for if you want to come into it.
Again,
I will gladly plug that.
how many
Megan
you got
even mentions it.
You got 8,000 people registered for this one?
I don't know yet, but it's funny because you do these things, you talk about it, and you just live the life. And Megan knows that, and she always recognizes that. And she said, like, "Thank you for everyone for being here, and thank you for Joey for taking off this one Friday every single month just to be here for this." Because, and she'll explain that Joey works Friday. He takes 3-day weekends off. Da da da, and that's part of who I am. It's part of my shutdown process. It's part of like, no, I don't want to do anything on Fridays. If anybody out of like the ordinary, like something like that on a Kajabi thing, I'll do. Or if Seth Godin calls me up and says, "Hey man, I'm in town on Friday. Would you mind?" But I'm not going to say, "No, Seth, I don't do anything on Fridays." Right? You know what I mean? There are things
Well,
where like,
yeah,
okay, but
it's the
normally
same.
it doesn't.
It's the same. Fridays, I don't nothing. But you know what? If somebody's like, I can only do Friday, and they're somebody I'm engaged, I was like, okay, I like to spend Fridays with my son, and maybe
Yeah,
I'll fit it in before I see him or after I see him. And
yeah,
I love what Lorna said. My point is that Scott just repelled me. Exactly. If
right.
I was like, I work on Sundays, she's like, I don't. Well, that's perfect. I mean, that was just in that case, and she made an excellent point. But if we don't
Yeah,
create what's going to work for us, then it's not. And I'm Joey. So here you go. When you first got involved in Kajabi,
yeah,
you knew your stuff, and that's how we met. Because I was like, this dude knows what he's talking about, and that's how we kind of met, back and forth. Like, huh? He kind of thinks the way I do. Hey, this guy Scott thinks the way I do. And
yeah,
then you created some stuff for people in Kajabi because you were so far ahead of everybody else, and you loved writing and you loved doing it. And then I remember the first time they asked you to do the Dream Client Workshop, and Megan said, I binge watched you guys for 5 hours
right.
because all the things, you 4 years ago, you're like, hey, bro, you want to like get on and do a live show with me? I was like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah,
And now we're 180 whatever episodes later because we love it.
yeah,
And we don't come here. There has never been a marketing motive with this ever. You and
yeah.
I have
But we're
never.
but we're marketing.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is, going back to the beginning of the call, there wasn't like, hey, Joey, how about we like set up this live show that we called it 3 different things already. And the goal is we're going to market it and advertise it. We're going to get people to come on. Then we're
Yeah,
going to get to the group. Once we get them into the group and we get them to answer the questions, we're going to put them into a
yeah.
sequence. And
What's
then
the
we're going
funnel
to
look like?
exactly. And we're going to do this. And then we're going to have the lead magnet and the tripwire and the thingy. And then we're going to send them and we're going to make billions. It was like, how about we get together and talk about marketing stuff? And we did. And was like, this is fun. You want to do it again? Yeah. Want to do it again? And here we are. And yes, it's marketing, but it's not, we didn't sit intentionally to plan something out. Not that there's anything wrong with planning out a campaign
Yeah,
with an
exactly.
result in mind. But again, going back to the topic of marketing is just being you, and that's what we do. I
Yeah,
started shaving again these days, but When I was in the studio, I'd walk out of a yoga class, jump on the call, and I was sweating and this, and people walking in the room and saying bye, Scott, or hugging me. And it's like, so what? That's who we are. It wasn't like, oh, nobody bother me. I'm in a live show now with Joey, and it's really important because people might come and say, what's going on here? Guys got people walking in and half naked and this and that, not half naked, but out of yoga class and this and coming into my office because
Yeah, that's not professional.
Oh, that's not. I can't actually work with them. Good. Bye bye.
Good, exactly. Yeah. Dude, you hit so many amazing points there because, we started off with just exactly what we've been talking about this whole entire show is what do we just love to do? Talk about marketing. Where can we do that? Let's do it on Facebook. If I would have, and I still don't, if I would have looked at this as a funnel and or had to follow the stats. So how many live people did we get? How many watchers after the fact did we get? How many people bought because of the show? Can I track Atlas back to this one? Like, oh my God, I would drive myself crazy. All I know is that I just want to show up on Tuesday and just jam and talk about all kinds of cool things. And that's it. Don't really care how many people are here live. Not that the people live right now, I not respect you. I love you and I do want more. But it's not about that, right? And the replays is like, great.
Well, and Joey, with that, you ended up with Kajabi and doing the Dream Client Workshop because you did what you loved and you wanted to serve people and you want to help them and going to the 3 pillars. And that's what we do here. Again, we've never had any ulterior motive here. It's just, I love doing this. Tuesdays, it's non-negotiable. Tuesdays at 7:00, I'm here. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I was with a buddy earlier, and I said, "Dude, you need to have me back by 6:45 at the latest because I've got a show." We stopped doing what we were doing. I said, "Now, let's go." I got in the car. I was like, "Now you can come back and finish," but I need to be there because it wasn't like I got to be there because if not, I'm not going to make money, and we're not going to get people, and we're not going to get the conversions. We've never looked at a thing here.
No, man.
And the beauty of it, too, was, Joey, I remember a month or so ago, somebody was on the show because they searched for guerrilla marketing. And you would put it in one of the show titles, and it came up above, and then they came on the show. That's marketing. There was no intent.
The whole thing here that we do is marketing. But it's not the intent wasn't to market. And the beauty of doing this is that we show up as we are. And so to me, there's 185 episodes of people, if they really want to get to know who we are, just go watch 1 or 2 and you'll kind of get it. Yeah. You'll either like us or you don't, right? Somebody wants to work with you, they don't want to work with me. They want to work with me, they want to work with you. Whatever. That's marketing. And this is what I'm trying to articulate to everyone listening to this. It's not... Yes, this has probably brought us business. I can't really relate it back unless somebody actually said, I bought Atlas because of that episode where you said this and this. I'm like, oh, okay, that's never happened. So I don't even know, but I'm pretty sure somebody did buy Atlas because of it. I'm pretty sure somebody hired you because of this, whatever. But that's not why we do it. But but realistically, if you zoom back out, like you just said, we are marketing. We are marketing. But it's not like we're showing up with, how do I market this? How am I supposed to show up this Tuesday? Right? Just show up, man.
You said it before, and Jeffrey brought that up a couple of months ago. It's not intentional what we do. As far as there's not an intentional marketing plan. Yeah, we intentionally show up every Tuesday and talk about marketing cool stuff and how we can help the tribe, serve them, and just respect whatever. Who knows? Like we said, somebody might have watched an episode 6 months ago, saw something one of us said, and then 6-8 months later, they're like, I'm struggling with that thing, and I remember Joey and Scott talked about that thing. Maybe I should reach out and see, maybe they could help me. And do I put together detailed campaigns? Yes. But that's different. That's when it is intentional, when you know all the things we've talked about. When you got your dream clients, when you know your dream business, when you know all the things that you teach in Atlas, and I'm not just plugging Atlas, but it's the foundation stuff that won't change, then you can go say, huh, I've got this message. I love talking about this. And, I do like going on whatever, name the place, because I enjoy it. It's easy for me.
Yeah.
Not like you have to go on Twitter or you have to go on TikTok or in whatever it is. I don't like it. Well, you have to in order to find your audience. No, you don't. Go hang out. If you want to go hang out at coffee shops and talk to people about what you do, go wherever you want and just talk about what you do and be you. That's a beautiful message that you skinnied it down to,
Thank you,
Mr.
man.
Simplicity Ragona.
Yeah, but that's really what it is, man. Is
Yeah,
what makes you happy? Because if you're not happy doing the thing, because I know, because I've been there. Ask me ask me how,
yeah,
how I know this. Because it was like doing everything else that everybody said that I need to be doing. One of the even like even when I look at some of the amazing people that I know in my life, gurus. These are like good gurus, like experts
yeah.
and stuff, and they do their own routines and everything else. And but I'm never forced into those things because I don't want to do. That's not who I am. I don't feel before when it was happening to me. I felt I need to do what these guys are doing because it's obviously working for them. But those are the operative words for them. Okay,
For them.
it's working for them. So that doesn't mean it's going to work for me. And so
Oh,
this is why you have to start with you and what do
yeah.
you love to do. And then, yeah, you can monitor things. And I'm not saying never just willy nilly just do everything. If you do a Facebook show, as a matter of fact, let me talk about that for a second. So we have done this now for, I don't know, at least 3 years, if not more. At the beginning of this, I was by myself for the first 16 episodes or something like that. It was horrendous. It was excruciatingly hard because I thrive by having someone else to bounce off of. That's just
No.
who I am. Even when I did my radio show, I still had a co-host there that I could bounce off of or that would respond to what I was saying. Okay? Yeah, I could read a little bit of a script, introduce a track or something like that, but where the show got really good was when I had someone else there that would even just laugh at something I would say. Okay? And then we would have a conversation. So thank you for that, Scott, for being that person. But the
You're
first 16
very
episodes, whatever it was me saying, "Oh, well, everybody's telling me I need to do it would be good to do a live show and I'll do the live show." And I tried and I looked back at some of them recently and I'm like, "Wow, that was you could see the struggle. Like you could see me just trying to keep the conversation going." Okay? So I don't know where I was going with this, but I don't know where I was going. But there was that point is like do something that you know that you could show up to and be really great at. I wasn't great at doing something all by myself, right? Just talking to the camera and spitting off great information because it would just be like, now what? There's no interaction. This is where my superpower is give me a challenge, man. Tell me I'm wrong or something. Tell me I'm right. Laugh at my stuff. Tell me whatever. Like
yeah.
give me something to converse with or give me a question and I'll thrive.
Joey, for us, turning on the camera and just talking is easy. We've done it so much; it's natural. I spent $100,000 to become a great professional speaker because I loved it and I wanted to get good and I was making a lot of money and I just kept hiring everybody. And so I can just go, hey, I got an idea, click, go live. Today I want to talk about da, 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 and be done. If I ask people to
Sorry.
if I thank you, if I ask people, if I say to someone, well, the easiest thing is to just, record yourself live, even if it's not live, just record it. And no matter what, they can't do it. It just doesn't work for them. What am I going to push them? And it's like, well, what do you like to do? I love making presentations with PowerPoint. Good. Make the best one. Go do it. That's what you
Exactly.
love to do. And then it puts you out there in the way that you love and you're happy instead of, God, I got to do this thing that I hate and it's going to show. It's gonna,
Yeah,
so,
100%.
uh,
It's it's like it starts again with you. Like it's always going to come back to this. Like what makes you
Yeah.
happy? What serves you well? Because if you look at the whole marketing thing and you want to throw that into the mix and say, well, you guys are doing a show every Tuesday and you're going into groups, Joey, every day and you're answering questions and typing all these book responses and stuff like, oh, I can't do all of it. Well, that's not you. Then that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But that's what I just love doing. That's
Right.
what lights me up. So it is what can you do or are, it's not can, it's like what do you want to do
Yeah.
that just puts you in front of people. Forget about where and all this kind of stuff right now, but who's the person and just start. It's not about what's the best marketing method. What should I do? It's the who needs to hear the message and where is the easiest place for you to begin right now. And that's it. And
Yeah.
don't worry about anything else until
I
you
mean,
look
Joey,
at.
that's perfect. If you like writing on flip charts, then write on flip charts and talk to people. If you like drawing colored thingies and telling people about it, do it. If you like painting, do it. Do what you love to do and then put it out there and see who you can help with what you love to do. Because it doesn't matter. I was talking to this gal who ran a hospital human resources, and their biggest problem is finding nurses. And they came up and said, well, let's give them a $30,000 signing bonus. They'll come flocking to us. Guess what? Nobody did. And I said, what's their problem? She goes, they love to live here because it's such a beautiful place, but they can't find a place to live. I said, what would happen if you found them a place to live and you just did it all for them? Now they do it. Take your 30 grand and go find them, move them, send a moving truck, pack them up, move them, get them a place to live. All they got to do is show up and their life is ready. Give them an instant life. It's like, never thought about it like that. Because you were so focused on solving the problem instead of, and I ran into a traveling nurse and I asked her some questions. And every single niche has a sub niche that you fit into. You don't have to go after the 7.5 billion people on the planet. We've talked about this. It only takes 100 or two people that you can serve at the highest level to be happy in a dream business, in a dream life.
Yeah, there's another thing to this, another level where, you know, when you're starting, at least from my experience of doing this the last few years, of figuring out first who do I want to speak to, but this is for everybody. But once you do that, and then you co-create, which is I recommend for everybody, is create the program with the dream clients, and that's a whole other area. But is then the focus begins to, at least for me, it was how do I ensure this gets the result, not for the money piece. Because I've had this question, I think it was in Kajabi who asked, like, how does your whole thing work and all that kind of stuff? And I mentioned, well, once somebody buys Atlas, they're in. They don't have to buy anything else, and they continue to come back. They don't pay any more money. I bring them as far as possible until they get the result that they're looking for, which is, 5 times their money back. Well, how do you make any money from that? And right away, my whole thing is like, it's not about the money. It's great to have a business, but it's more about how do I make this person transform like I promised them in the first place? Because once I do that, 2 or 3 of those people will tell somebody else. And that's how I make money. That's how. Because I'm focused on the who and the what happens to them. Not how do I get more into the funnel, into the next cohort, right? And as soon as I switch that, again, it's marketing. It's like, you can do marketing by really caring for yourself first. This is who I am, who I want, and then ultimately caring for your client. What's the thing that I need to do again and again, which is why we're talking about all this? What's the thing that I need to go do every day so that I'm speaking to the right people and getting them the result that they want? I've had people tell me, talking about copy, look at copy, where Don't write long emails, man. You can't. Nobody's going to read your emails. Really? Well, maybe some of them don't, but I know some of them do because they respond to me and say, "Thank you for writing these things because they inspire me." Doesn't happen every day, doesn't happen every week, Scott, but the right people are, right? And that's my way of communicating. That's my superpower. This is the way I do things. Even though somebody might tell me, "You should be doing more videos with all that stuff then." No, I don't want to do that. I'd rather
Yeah.
just write the thing.
Videos are the single most effective medium. Yeah, I don't want to do videos. Okay, don't. What do you
Yeah.
like to do? I like writing. Good. Write some blogs. See, because
Well, nobody's going to
apparently
read that. Well, the right people will,
the
you
right
know,
people
and that's,
will that love to write and read and love your
yeah,
stuff. They're going to read it. You know, it's
yeah,
like I read. You know, when I get into my fiction reading, I'll read 3 or 4 books in a weekend of my favorite authors, and I'll read every single book they've ever written that are 300-400 pages long. Who says they're not going to read it? If you love something, you'll read it, and if it
yeah.
comes
If
from
it
somebody,
resonates with you, you'll read it. Like we had a discussion. I don't know who I just had a discussion with, but it was long form and short form and all these things. And I go, I really don't think about it. Like if I'm
oh,
writing something and it's a message that I want to get out, I'm gonna keep writing until I get the message out.
well, okay, I'm done. I
Like,
got it out. I covered
like
what I
that's
needed to say.
if it's short,
Oh
it's short.
boy,
If it's long, it's long. And if it's double long, then I'll make a part two. I'll go, hey,
yeah.
this is
Well,
I'm gonna continue
it,
this in tomorrow's email. How's that?
it's like books. We unpack the practice with Seth Godin, and I love that book so much because each point is a paragraph. I don't have to read 47 pages to get the idea. But you know what? In another book, I might read 47 pages if I want that. The Pumpkin Plan. That's a different book. I read that thing. Bernadette Jiwa, Marketing a Love Story. Each one is interested to me. I didn't. It's not like Seth Godin, so I won't read it. It's what I love. It's what I'm interested in. I'll read it. And your people, your dream clients, are your dream clients because, like you said earlier, they love the same things you do. They believe in the same things you do. And if not, then go stand in another line.
Yeah,
Seth
and
Godin.
this is where it comes back to us, and it sounds like, like you said, like we're not trying to stand in a soapbox and say this is my way or the highway. However,
Mhm.
even when I'm talking about dream clients and telling people or suggesting to them, here's what the anti-avatar is, which is somebody who doesn't appreciate what you do and or makes you adjust the way that you do it just so it fits their life. And we're not talking about never adjusting and adapting, but there's too much adapting and adjusting. Well, I won't do that because I don't like whatever. Like, oh, okay, well, you're paying me money, so I may as well go do. You know what I mean? It's just
Yep.
way too much. At least for me, this is just my personal opinion. But like if I have to continuously adapt just to keep a client, that's not somebody I want to work with. It's not
Oh,
something that I want to be doing for the rest of my life. It's like you said, like this is how I expect people to move when I expect people to listen to me, and I expect them when if you're telling me the same thing again and again and again and you're not listening to me, you haven't done the thing, then I'm not going to answer you anymore.
no.
I've told you what to try. I'm not telling you it's the answer, but I'm telling you go try this and you still won't
Right.
listen to me.
Yeah.
That is not somebody who is a dream client for me,
No.
and that's marketing. What I'm saying right now is repelling people. It's like going, holy crap, who does this guy think he is? This is marketing. This is me telling you this is what I'm all about. My superpower is to get you into momentum. But if that's not you and you're needing guarantees and whatever, the absolute solution and stuff, we're not going to work together. And that right there, that little speech was just marketing, right?
And you know what, Joey, too, we joke about this is you're going to pay Joey 3,500 bucks, and you may watch this and it may be 5,000 or 10, whatever. You're going to pay him 3,500 bucks, and in 30 days, there's no guarantee you're going to make any money. That's
Yeah.
all. Somebody's going to be like, "What are you nuts? I ain't going to do that." Well, great, goodbye.
You know what? It's funny you said that because, you know me, I'm a geek for looking at all of my clients'
Yeah.
data and
Oh yeah.
answers and stuff. That's what I love. I geek out on that. And I was just reading one of the very first comments from Atlas, and one of the comments was basically around the same thing you just said. It goes, when you say, I don't know if it's going to work for you, it freaks people like me out. Okay, that was
Yeah.
basically what the thing is, because
Yeah.
you know that I just I didn't know that at the beginning of Atlas, but that's part of really what the realization is like well, no, I sorry, let me go back. At the beginning of Atlas, as you know, when I started this, I didn't know it was going to work. It was just like a whim, like I don't
Right.
know, I have no
Yeah.
idea, right? And it
It
was
was
like
like
me,
the Oomba. It goes back to Oomba when you
yeah,
did write marketing copy. That was an Oomba. For those that don't know, way back when, like 4 years ago, Joey was like, "Hey, dude, I think I'm gonna do." We were on it just talking. You're like, "I think I'm gonna do this thing about, my thing about write marketing copy, and I don't know, I'm gonna charge $49." And it was out of your butt, and you
yeah,
did it, and this and that and that and that. There wasn't an intentional plan of marketing. It was like, I love teaching this stuff. I see people don't really get how to create a copy bank. So let me do a thingy on it. And you did. And it just turned into the next thing and the next thing. And then when you're like, I'm doing this thing called Atlas, I'm going to put my stuff together and I'm going to get some people and see what happens. And going back earlier, it's like, so if you did 30 people a year at 3,500, you're close to 100 grand instead of, I got to sell 1,000 things at $100 to make 100 grand, which is easier, 30 people or 1,000. I think it's easier to get 30 people. Same amount of time invested, and you don't have all the crap and the this and the blah blah, and got to get 87,000 people in the top of the funnel for this conversion and these KPIs and this and that, and click through rates and that, and blah 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 blah. It's exhausting just talking about it, and I lived that for a couple of years.
well, we
Every
both
other
did.
week,
I did it too.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I'm gonna actually take people through the back end of my Infusionsoft and show them the 200 campaigns, and each
yeah,
campaign, not each of them, but there are quite a few campaigns that are explosive all over the place of do
oh
this,
yeah,
doing that, and this. Anyway, but back to my point of the story was, you know, when I was doing Atlas and I was figuring it out and being honest and upfront, go figure, it was it would freak out the wrong people. Like it was not the and again, these are not I'm not judging people. It's just that they are probably not the right dream clients for me because if that now it works. I know that that works, and I'll get to why I'm saying this. Okay, because of what I do now in Atlas to promote it. But it was like then it was like I don't even know if it works, so that would freak people out. Now, like you just said, yeah, you hire me $3,500, and basically at the end of those 12 weeks, you're probably not going to make any money. Like that's a pretty darn daring statement to put out into the world, right?
yeah.
But it's the dang truth. And so that freaks out the wrong people in terms of are they a fit for me and what Atlas is, because I cannot promise you, like so many other people do, you know, at the end of 12 weeks, here's what's going to happen. You're going to have this, 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 and this, and this. That's what I want for you. At the end of 12 weeks, I want you to have these things,
Right.
but it's probably going to be along the other lines of you're going to get a lot of breakthroughs and wins, but maybe you won't get enough the money that you're expecting to get at the end of 12 weeks, which is the reason why I'd go into the 12 and you can come back and I get and explain all the reasons why that coming back to Atlas is so important and all the and that why I don't charge and all these things. So there's a reasoning behind all of that only because I understand the process of the dream client going through and caring about them so much that I'm like, well, I'm not going to get even I'm not even going to ask them for $50 to come back because it's a I don't know even what the percentage would be off. It's this much off. All you have to do is pay me this much and you can come back to the next one too. Forget all that.
Hi,
It's more
Joey.
about how much do I care about transforming this person and being honest with them up front and repelling the people that are going to say, you're asking me for $3,500 and you're telling me that you can't even tell me I'm going to make anything at the end of this? Why would I want to work with you?
Joey, as far as marketing goes, and we talk about showing up to do what you love, we show up every week to do what we love. And a ways back, you're like, hey, dude, why don't you share something tonight? And I'm like, okay, I'll do the 5 things you need to have on a landing page. And we did it. And then people were like, this should be a thing. You should do a course on it. I'm like, okay, I'll do one. So I'm looking for 12 people. Got 12 people. Then I raised the price. I doubled the price, and I took only 6 people in the next one. And that was marketing, but it wasn't, I'm going to build a program. It just happened. And when you show up being you and doing what you love, it was like when I used to speak the first 20 or I don't know, the first year, I'd go out and speak, and people go, "Hey, you got any tapes?" Like,
Yeah.
no. Well, after like, 10, 20 people said, "You got any tapes?" I'm like, huh, maybe I should do some tapes. So I went and
Yeah.
recorded some tapes. And then it was like, hey, I got some tapes. It wasn't like, okay, I'm going to go do these seminars. I got a tape. I got to sell from the platform, the back end. I got this and that. It was like, what do you want tapes on? Well, the stuff you talked about. Great. I went in, I recorded them, and people started buying them because it's what they asked for. It's what they wanted. It just happened because I was
Exactly.
doing what I loved.
Exactly. Um, yeah.
Joey invests his time in us, and in return, we invest our time in him. That's
I
the
hope so.
equation.
Yep.
That's the reciprocity here.
Yeah. 3,500 equals transformation sooner or later. Yes. If you stick with me, if you listen to me, I will get you the transformation. And that's my promise to everybody is that I'm not
Joey,
giving up.
last summer, I shut down for 12 weeks and went through Atlas. I invested in Atlas. Why? Because I wanted to go through it. At the end of it, I didn't go out and make a ton of money, but the knowledge, the wisdom, the insight, the guidance, everything that's now a part of me will never
Yeah, it's
go
now
away.
making you money.
Yeah, it's never going to go away. It's not going to change. It's not like, okay, now I got to go do this strategy. No. Who's your dream client? What's your dream client statement? What's the journey? What's the chain of belief? So, okay, good, great. That will never change, and that's the thing of marketing is, yeah, show up and do what you love. That's it. It'll
Amazing,
come.
amazing conversation. Thank you so much, man. Um, Great show. We can go on forever about this. Hopefully, you listening on live right now. Thank you for being here, by the way, and also thank you for being here on the replay if you're watching us. Hopefully, this gave you some insight on what marketing is, which is pretty simple when you back out of all of the technological things to it, the methods, and all of that stuff. Just simplify, be you, go out into the world, wherever that is for you, and just talk about what you love to the person that you want to talk to. That's it. And everything else will show up because you'll find things where you don't want to do things. So if anybody tells you you need to go do this, I would question it. I would
I
question
think
it.
what you do is you go and you curate a tribe of people you love hanging out with. And as you're doing that, you serve them in the highest way, doing what you love. And then you just give them the flexibility, the room, and the time for them to say, I'm ready. And that's your 3 pillars.
Yeah.
And that it's just brilliantly put, and it makes it so simple. It's just everybody else wants to complicate it with BSO.
Yep. I love that. Great way to end the show. Thanks, Scott, for being here. Thank you for being my confidant here, my partner in crime, so I can bounce
Oh,
things
wait.
off, or else the show would never have gotten this far. So thank you. I appreciate you as well listening. We'll see you next Tuesday.